From Viking halls to the cities of the future, terrain buffs will love our foreground hub. Watch gaming tables of all genres come to life at beastsofwar.com. Flames of War brings you the battles of World War II in epic 15mm scale. Go to the hub on beastsofwar.com to find news, tactics, and tutorials about the game.
Hey everyone, Sam here, also known as Mr. Stainless 001, and we are back for another episode of a Journey from the Tabletop in Total War Warhammer. Last week, we dealt a crushing blow to Emil von Corden of the forces of Marienburg, and we had hoped that we would be able to capitalise upon that in last episode to finally defeat the Marienburg faction, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Emil retreated into Allied territory, and we could not follow him, or we couldn't afford to follow him really, because during the war with Marienburg, because we built up such a great deal of troops and forces, we've actually put ourselves into financial and internal ruin really. We are currently in the red. We're drawing in a negative income every turn, so what I'm doing here is merging some of my units.
Yes.
What this is doing is basically putting all of these units together to create full units, and it's in doing so it lowers the upkeep because I'm not having to pay for the upkeep for as many units, but it equally means that my armies are ready to go.
Yes.
Not only that, but I got rid of 4 units from Edelhard's troop, so to speak, and I'm going to merge the rest of his useful or viable units into Luyen's army. And this will just mean that we have one full army going forward. What I want to do in this episode is deal with the undead incursion we have in the Lyonesse province, and then see if we can actually draw our attention again to Marienburg. We need to get rid of them. We need to take Marienburg in order to, for me really, to feel like we have a strong foothold. We've taken Gorsel, but Gorsel isn't really the most advanced region that we could have. Marienburg is a strong city. It's well defended. It can hold a strong garrison, and taking it would be a real asset for us. But in order to do that, we need to stabilize our economy and stabilize the regions as well. Because one thing I definitely do not want to happen is to lose Lyonesse to the undead, really. That would be a nightmare, if you'll pardon the very bad undead chaos joke there. So as you can see, Emil continues to run like a coward through the back way to Marienburg. But what I'm going to do is use Luyen's army to march down, take out the undead forces, try and increase public order in Lyonesse, and then we'll see how we go from there. In the meantime, though, thank you to everyone for your awesome feedback on last week's episode. You guys really enjoyed seeing that battle. It was a long time overdue, really, and it was about time that we got a battle in these videos for you as well, and there will be more to come, trust me. No doubt we will have a massive battle for the siege of Marienburg. Basically how I'm going to structure those battle videos is that if there is a battle that looks like I'm for sure going to win it, and there's no question, I'll probably just auto-resolve it, because there won't be as much of a challenge, there won't be anything as interesting there for you guys. But if it looks like there is a chance that I could lose a lot of men, or there is a chance that by fighting it on the battlefield we could sway the tide there, then we'll most definitely be recording those episodes. Okay, chaos stirs. That's not great. It's probably a sign of things to come, really. Doesn't help that we sent an expedition force up north to raid and plunder the Norscan tribes, but oh, okay. Yeah, Dietrich von Karstein is gone. You can already see how the land here is changing because of the chaos and undead corruption. So that's something we're going to want to keep an eye on. See if we can try and reverse that if we can. And I will execute the undead prisoners that we've captured. There's no way I want to ransom them off back to the undead forces, really. I want to make sure that I don't come across them again. So what we'll do is we'll garrison Luen's forces here for a couple of turns, get public order up, and then we'll start marching him north again towards Marienburg. Gorsel in the meantime seems to be doing alright. We'll see if we can build something that will help us generate a little bit more of an income as well. Although income wise we're doing alright. And for the next few turns, because we're not really going to be, well, because we can't recruit anyone, we're not really going to be spending a lot of money, which means that we're going to accrue a lot of resources there. That is the one thing about the Bretonnian faction that is somewhat useful. If you had to try and see this faction as being a glass half full, they don't allow you to spend a lot of money because you can't raise armies all the time because your peasant economy will suffer. So you've only really got to spend your money on buildings, which in turn will generate more revenue. Okay, we'll build that as well to, again, generate more revenue. Aside from that, everything looks fine. So we'll continue to move Luen's forces towards Marienburg and assess the situation there. So it looks like they've got 2 armies now. This is what I was worried about. They're not big armies, about 11 units each, but they do also have the garrisoned troops that come along with the Marienburg settlement. We're going to need, we're going to need 2 armies for this. So we're going to need to stretch our economy to its limits again in order to overcome these folks. But I think we can do it. We'll continue to move Luen's forces across the border anyway, kind of as a frontline force, while Edelhard will bring up the rear with as many troops as he can muster. Okay, this is interesting. So we're starting to see the other Imperial factions start to request non-aggression pacts with us, and this is in our benefit to do as well, because what this can mean is that these other Imperial factions are recognizing that, hey, look, we realize that Marienburg is going to fall. You're going to take it, and we want to make sure that whenever you take that, you don't just immediately start to sweep into our lands. So it's, in one hand, it's in our interest to enter into these non-aggression pacts to begin with. I have no interest at the moment to continue pushing forth into more Imperial lands once we take Marienburg. If we take Marienburg, I should say. What I want to turn my attention to instead is the undead forces to our south. I want to take care of those guys because we're currently, because they're chaos troops, because they're forces of evil, so to speak, their presence is influencing the neighboring regions. It's creating more unrest. It's corrupting my land. I want to get rid of them. I don't want any more corrupting forces anywhere near my people. The Imperial factions, we don't get any kind of corruption coming from them because they're humans. So for the time being, I'm fine with entering into non-aggression pacts with these other Imperial factions. It equally keeps my border safe, or safer. It's not a guarantee. They could always just turn around and stab me in the back, but it gives some form of security there. So Luen Leoncoeur's forces are now deep into Marienburg territory, but we can't take on these 2 armies and the garrisoned force just with Luen's men. We're going to need to move Edelhard north and spend whatever money we have left, really, in recruiting troops. The benefit is, though, that now we have the technology, we've unlocked the ability to recruit troops with shields, so men-at-arms with shields and spearmen with shields as well, which is going to be very useful. Those are troops that we haven't been able to field yet. Okay. So I have a plan of how we could do this. And it harks back to the old Rome Total War days. Hopefully it'll still work. I don't know if they've gotten rid of it in this game, but we'll see how we go. So Edelhard is now marching forth. We'll get him some extra troops, but what is happening here is that Emil's army is trying to ambush us. Pretty much every turn you'll see that they disappear. What that means is that they're going into ambush stance, and if I move my forces to attack the city of Marienburg, while they're still hidden, they will ambush us. We won't be able to retreat. We'll have to fight. We won't be able to be reinforced, but they can be reinforced. Basically, it screws us over, and we don't want that to happen. So what we'll do is, if their army reappears again, it'll give us the opportunity to send Edelhard in to attack the city. But we'll obviously recruit some troops here. But what we're going to do is rather than... So if we attack Marienburg in our current stance, even if we know Emil's forces are there, then what that will mean is that we will be attacking... We'll be attacking Emil's army, Theodore's army inside Marienburg, and then the garrison troops in Marienburg as well. However, if we can use Edelhard's army to lay siege to Marienburg, we can then attack Emil's army with Luen's army without the fear of Emil being reinforced. So because, and that makes sense, because Edelhard is laying siege to Marienburg, those troops can't leave. But it means that Edelhard can reinforce Luen's army, if that makes sense. And that's going to be within our interest to do. And he's gotten away with it. So as you can see here, Edelhard would lose. Downright. That's completely understandable. But we can now move Luen's army forward to attack Emil. And what this means is that if we can destroy Emil's army, we're now fighting against just Theodore and the garrison troops inside Marienburg, which is a lot better. You can already see now we've got about just over a third possibility of winning. But what we're going to do is try and destroy Emil's army completely, because what we don't want to happen is for Emil, because he would, for Emil to sally forth, kind of run back to Marienburg and help out his people, which he would do. We're going to use... this is something really useful that the Bretonnians can do. They can offer their vanquished foes a chance to join their army. And we're going to do that because it will mean that Luen's numbers are as high as we can get them. In the meantime, we're going to get Edelhard to probably create some siege weaponry. And from there, we just are going to wait. This is going to be the very same thing we did with the greenskins up in the mountains. We're not going to attack. We are simply going to wait them out. And this is going to be a risky move. Our economy is in the minus. Well, we're bringing in a negative income, so we have to hope that our money can hold out. But we're going to try and see if we can last long enough to force the city of Marienburg into attrition. All we need to do is get one turn of attrition, and we'll be fine. The numbers inside Marienburg will drop by half. We will have a guaranteed victory. We will lay siege to Marienburg, vanquish it, and we will finally have gotten rid of this faction, and it will give us a very strong position here around the Bretonnian borders. We'll have 3 strong cities: Marienburg, Lyonesse, and Couronne. We will have the opportunity to, with the economy from those cities, bolster Gorsel, and equally give us the springboard, the foothold that we need to expand and take these forces of undead, and perhaps spread even further south to join up with the other Bretonnian factions to help them defeat beastmen tribes and other forces of chaos, and hopefully be prepared for the end times. Folks, that is the end of this week's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. As always, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. I do read every comment and I try to respond to every comment as well. But folks, in the meantime, hope you're all having a great week. I'll see you next time.